Hello and welcome back to this week's edition of TC Weekly Live. I'm your host here, Jared, with Billy, and we're here to bring you some more great content from the DMT students. That was so refreshing, just like the promise of a better America.
I can trust that promise just as much as a crafty car mechanic. Just like this one featured here in this week's episode of The Dish.
Mechanics. We've all needed one at one point, but how do you know if you can trust yours? Well, here at The Dish, this episode, we're going to give you some helpful tips on what to look out for and how to not get the wool pulled over your eyes. We got Earl the Mechanic here to help us out today, just to give us a overview on what to look out for in the future with auto mechanics.
Your car in, a lot of mechanics or mechanic shops, they'll try to get over on you a little bit, make a little extra money, especially on jobs they know are easy for them to take care of that you yourself may not be comfortable with. A lot of those things boil down to your oil changes, coolant changes, and just general maintenance on the car, whether it be brakes, shocks, struts, tires, whatever. Here's some things that you can look out for from here on out.
Superstition debunkification. Debunkified.
Alright, so a lot of times you go into a mechanic shop and they try to get you to use the good stuff, this synthetic oil. It doesn't really work out so well in most cases. We like to go with some good, nice alligator blood. It's a little red here. You just open her up, give her a little twist there, set that down. You just dump her right down the motor. She loves that red stuff. Feels right up there. There we go. Dump that in there. And that'll keep it running good for the rest of its days. No worries after that. So after you get the gator blood dumped in to get her running good, you got to move on to the Pro Charger here. Now this thing will blow anything away right off the street. It just does it all, I tell you. It's the best thing out on the market. You can plug your phone in sitting inside the car, full throttle this thing, and it'll charge you right up, no problem. It sends so much power through. It's crazy things they do these days. Another good use for it, take it off of here, flip it over, put a little power behind it. You can use it as a leaf blower. Yard cleaned up in no time. Alright, so what we got here is this is the opposite end of the leaf blower. It's the chopper for the apples and fruits, whatever else you want to throw down there. Stick it in this end, it comes out the rear, fresh chopped up. You got fresh apple juice, whatever else you would like to use it for. It's a good time right there. I suggest no kids put their fingers in there when it's running, as if you might come out fingerless. Alright, so now that we got the Mustang all wrapped up for the day, everything's good to go with that. We ended up with a few bolts left over. The factory likes to make these things a little overweight and a lot of bolts that you don't really need. So we just took a few out here, there. Figured, you don't really need any of that. Make the car faster, make you feel nice and safe rolling down the road.
Did you know that human trafficking is an ongoing problem happening here right in the 920?
I'm concerned about those people walking around entranced in that Pokemon world. How can they be so oblivious to reality when, they're walking into traffic?
I don't know. But join us on Wednesday, November 16th from 11:30 to 12:30 on campus to be a part of the solution. Awareness needs to be spread to survive this threat. And speaking of survival and Pokemon, enjoy this next segment from To Be Determined.
Calvin, you're back.
Yeah,
What are you doing here?
How's your cooking show?
it got canceled, actually. They didn't like my SpaghettiOs.
Well, we can come up with some new ideas now.
Did you happen to cook up any more ideas?
No, and that was really bad. I don't have anything, so I hope you guys do.
What about a reality TV show?
Like, what kind of show? There's a lots.
Desperate Housewives?
Fear Factor?
Survivor.
I don't know. I got a pretty decent voice. We could do like American Idol or something.
I like the Survivor idea.
Me too.
Fine.
I'm your host, Travis Gershwin. Today we have a special edition of Survivor. We got our two contestants today, Chad McPants and Caitlin. Their challenge today is going to see who can create a fire here in the woods, and the loser gets voted off the island while the winner wins the prize.
My name's Chad McPants. It's my first time here on Survivor. That isn't gonna stop me from winning. Because I know the game, and the game is surviving. I'm a survivor, that's why I win. That other chick, Caitlin or whatever, she's not gonna win, because she's not gonna survive. That's right, I said it. It's going down. So is that host dude, sounds like a douche.
I'm a man of the land. I don't really need a structure or a roof over my head. I'm perfectly fine sleeping under the stars. I'll just throw some leaves over me. You know, why waste your time, right, like Caitlin's doing?
Okay, my name is Caitlin and I'm gonna win Survivor because it's my first time on here and everybody knows that first is first place. So I got my teepee built here, or the structure of it. It took me a little while to figure it out, but you know, I eventually figured it out.
I'm here relaxing, getting ready for the challenge. I'm basically part caveman. Like, I'm pretty sure my great-grandfather was like 80% caveman.
I don't need any kindle to start a fire because I got something in my pocket and I'm gonna be the very best. I guess I didn't have enough XP to actually start a fire, but it was going just a little bit, as you can see right there.
And then the most important part of the fireplace is the fire. How does this work?
And this is stupid. I had my fire going. I don't get it. They said make a fire, I made a fire. Alright, who cares if I used a lighter? I mean, yeah, it took me a little time to get the childproof thing going, but still, I accomplished the task. What's the big deal? Like, that's exactly what I would do out in the wild.
Well, I'm glad I had the chance to be on the show because it was a really good, experience, and that Chad McPants, I'm glad he lost too, because he's a big douche in the pants.
Well, to be honest, I didn't know what to expect with these two when they first came on the show, but after they were contestants on here, I can say that these were the worst contestants I've ever seen on this show. They didn't know how to start a fire, they didn't even complete the task at hand, and it's just disappointing that we didn't actually have a winner this time.
How unfortunate. I guess surviving really does come down to who can be the very best.
And if you want to be the very best and say no dice to the newly proposed mascot at NWTC, then get involved in the Student Senate.
Get involved.
Involved.
Enjoy this week's verbal euphoria that is Phrase Finders.
Welcome to this episode of Phrase Finders, where we uncover the origins of some well-known phrases in the English language. I am your host, Jared Ottinger. Today's phrase is no dice. This phrase is one that you may have heard before, and it has been around since the early 1900s. It is used to refuse a request or indicate no change in success. In the early 20th century, gambling was illegal, and so dice were key evidence that a person was gambling. Some gamblers would go to extreme lengths to hide their dice from police when they were caught. Courts would even throw out some cases if there were no dice offered as evidence. There were also a few court cases where the gamblers would actually swallow the dice in order to not be arrested. It was likely that the term no dice equaled no conviction when encountering officers. Today, the term is used when associating something with not happening. So, if the Green Bay Packers have a game this weekend against the Bears, you would expect it to be a close game. But if you're a Packers fan and have confidence in your team, you would say, no dice. The Packers will stomp the Bears. Thanks for watching, and make sure to join us next time as we uncover the origins of more phrases.
You know, in this day and age, who even needs dice when you can just play video games?
Forget about this day and age. Let's go back to Big Hair, Bon Jovi, Poison, Bad Ballads, in this week's episode of Retro Revival.
I bet Bret Michaels has some stunning hair under that bandana.
I'm sure he does.
Welcome to Retro Revival. This week we are going to be talking about the gaming console ColecoVision. ColecoVision was released in 1982 and boasted powerful specs with a total RAM of 1 kilobyte and a total video RAM of 16 kilobytes. An average MP3 file is 3.5 megabytes. ColecoVision was released in August of 1982 for $175 to join the video game console battle. To make sure they were successful, Coleco reached out to Nintendo, paying $250,000 for the rights to one of the best games in the world, Donkey Kong. Coleco's software approach was to go after licensed arcade games that Atari had missed. After nearly bankrupting itself in 1978 with overstocked Telstar units, Coleco once again entered the console market, looking to dethrone Atari 2600 and Intellivision, the current kings of their industry.
How nostalgic. Technically speaking, that's it for us.
And we thank you for joining us on this week of TC Weekly Live. We want you to tune in next week on Tuesday at 2 o'clock on the same time from the same great content creators. And make sure you follow us on Instagram and Facebook.